What if a country built an aircraft carrier that never surfaced? The Soviet Union tried, and spent over $2 billion in the 1960s to do it. Today we're covering everything about Project 707, the Soviet Union's secret underwater aircraft carrier, from how it started to why it still matters. And wait until you hear what happened during its first real test, a moment that changed the course of the Cold War forever. In the 1950s, the Soviet Union faced a growing threat from American nuclear submarines. They needed a way to strike back, without being detected. In 1958, Soviet naval engineers proposed a radical idea, a submersible aircraft carrier that could launch missiles from a depth of 1,000 feet. The project was led by Vladimir Grigorovich, a top Soviet naval engineer, and backed by Premier Nikita Khrushchev in 1960. The goal was to build a sub that could carry 12 cruise missiles, each with a nuclear warhead, and fire them while staying hidden. With the Cold War at its peak, the Soviets saw this as a way to level the playing field, and they were willing to spend big to make it happen. But turning this idea into reality would prove far harder than anyone imagined. Engineers faced a massive challenge, designing a sub that could operate at 1,000 feet, deeper than any other sub at the time. The pressure at that depth is over 200 pounds per square inch, enough to crush most submarines. To solve this, the Soviets developed a new type of titanium alloy, stronger and lighter than steel, to build the hull. Despite these breakthroughs, the project was plagued by delays. By 1965, the budget had ballooned to over $2 billion, more than the entire Soviet space program. The first prototype, designated Project 707, was launched in 1968, but it was far from perfect. After years of development, it was finally time to prove itself, but the test would be anything but routine. In 1969, the Soviet Navy conducted its first full-scale test of Project 707, a mission that would go down in history as a disaster. The sub was designed to travel at 20 knots, but in reality, it barely reached 10. Its maximum range was only 3,000 miles, far short of what was needed to reach American targets in the Pacific. Operators found the missile launch system unreliable, with several failed launches during testing. Despite these problems, the Soviets believed the sub could change the balance of power, if only it worked. But the real test was yet to come, and it would expose the project's fatal flaws. In 1970, the Soviet Navy conducted a full combat simulation, but the sub failed to launch a single missile without technical issues. The sub's titanium hull cracked under pressure, and the missile guidance systems were plagued by errors. By 1972, the project was officially abandoned, with only one prototype ever built and no operational use. The failure of Project 707 was a major blow to Soviet military ambitions, and a costly lesson in overambitious engineering. So what's the lasting impact of Project 707, the Soviet Union's secret underwater aircraft carrier? Though it never saw combat, the project pushed the limits of submarine technology, and inspired future stealth designs. The titanium hull design and deep-diving capabilities influenced later Soviet subs, like the Akula class. Today, the prototype lies in a Russian naval museum, a forgotten relic of the Cold War. Though it cost billions and failed to deliver, Project 707 remains a fascinating chapter in military history, and a reminder of the risks of pushing technology too far. And scientists still can't explain why it failed, despite all the data. Project 707 proves that even the most ambitious military projects can be undone by a single flaw, or a single failure. Which military subject should we deep dive next? Comment below and subscribe for more.